Tomorrow is decision day for the Baltimore Ravens. What will Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh do to take the roster down to 53? We got some big information to get to on a few cuts the Ravens have already made coming up in just a matter of moments. But first, folks, our division rival channel, Bengals Breakdown, they got 500 likes on a video the other day. And Tom Downey told me, you guys can't do that. You can't match that. And I said, I'll prove you wrong right now. Can we deliver? Can we get 500 likes on today's show? Prove them wrong. Let's get after it and get started here on Ravens Rundown. Thanks for joining us here on the channel. Tyler Jones here with a look at the key moves the Ravens have already made ahead of tomorrow's 53-man roster cut deadline day. Let's go ahead and get started with Corey Mayfield. According to Aaron Wilson, tweeting out, Ravens releasing Corey Mayfield per a league source. Tom Pelissero then also saying the Ravens release veteran safety DeAndre Houston-Carson per source. He was just added to the team a couple of weeks ago. Meanwhile, according to The Athletic, undrafted rookie defensive tackle Trey Botts was also a part of the Ravens' first wave of roster cuts this morning. So those are a few already that are done in Baltimore. And then, in case you forgot, Shemar Bridges, the second-year wide receiver, he was a breakout star in the preseason last year. He agreed to an injury settlement with the Ravens, so he has been waived. He's done, and so 4 players now officially off the roster for the Baltimore Ravens ahead of deadline day tomorrow. Bottom line is this. None of these guys were going to make the 53-man roster. None of these 4 that the Ravens moved on from, I think, are a huge surprise. But here's the thing that I take away when it comes to these moves and what the Baltimore Ravens made. It's not just that you say goodbye to those guys now, but when you move on from somebody this early, with cutdown day tomorrow, what you're signaling is that we don't even want these guys on the practice squad. That when you get to the practice squad spots that we'll find out later in the week, none of these guys are going to be on the table for Baltimore. That they are saying, see you later, they're done with these guys for now. I got some takeaways that I want to look at coming up in just a few moments, leading to roster cutdown day in just a second. But first, what is your one-word reaction to the roster cuts, the moves the Ravens have made so far to this point? Give me one word to describe it all. My one word is expected. I thought this would be how the Ravens would get things started with these moves here. Nothing crazy so far. Doing what they need to do. Expected with these moves. Give me your one word to describe it all. Folks, this is why you subscribe to Ravens Rundown. The Ravens, I know that there was other teams that made moves yesterday, but they kind of waited around, and then this morning, boom, 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 they were making moves. So what do? We gathered our resources. We made you a video as quick as we can. So stay up to date with the Ravens. Subscribe now. That way you know what's going on with your Baltimore Ravens, as this is going to be a crazy next couple days. We will have it all covered right here on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications so you stay up to date what's happening with your favorite team. We got you covered. Here are 4 things that you need to know as far as roster cutdown day goes for the Baltimore Ravens. As it stands, at the time of this recording, there are a grand total of 86 players on the Ravens roster, including Lamar Jackson. Crazy. So that means the Ravens have 33 decisions to make in regards to who is going home and who is staying around in this football version of Survivor. Where's Jeff Probst? With that, the deadline tomorrow is going to hit at 4 p.m. Eastern Time is when we shall know who stays and who goes. And then the following day, at the same time, is the waiver claim deadline. So a lot of these same players that are going to be cut, other teams can pick up those contracts on the waiver wire as is, and it reflects how you finished last season on the waiver claim. So if the Ravens want to put out a waiver claim for somebody, obviously they're going to be towards the bottom half of that pecking order if they do put in any waiver claims. With that, what am I watching for? First off, I got to start off with my guy, Tylan Wallace. I think that he is a roster lock. When we see that 53-man roster projection, Tylan Wallace has to be on there for the Baltimore Ravens. And I know that we've talked a lot on this channel how good the receiving core is going to be, how much it has stepped up from what it was in 2022. But Tylan Wallace had a breakout campaign this preseason. 5 catches, 55 yards, 11 yards of reception. He had 2 touchdowns. He's a very good possession receiver. We saw that throughout this preseason. Look, it's crowded when you talk about OBJ and Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman. But there is still a place for Tylan Wallace. He's got to be there for me. I'm looking for Tylan Wallace to have a spot on this 53-man roster and to play a pretty significant role. I think he can have the best season of his career that he's had so far to this point. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Is Tylan Wallace a lock to make the Ravens roster? If you agree with that statement, type Y for yes. If you disagree, type in for no, and let me know in the comment section. Is Wallace a lock or not? Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code CHAT125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. Early odds already out for when your Baltimore Ravens take on the Houston Texans next week. The Ravens, big favorites, double-digit favorites against Houston, 10-point favorites to be exact. Over-under is set at 44. If you want to bet on this game as well as other games across the National Football League, college football getting started this week, want to play some wagers on some college ball and maybe Maryland or some of those other teams out there, Virginia Tech, get your bets in today. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125 to get your bets in now. That's chatsports.com/bet, promo code CHAT125. Number 2 on what I'm watching for. I am done with Ben Cleveland. I have said sayonara to Ben Cleveland. Now I'll say this. I say I'm done. I'm mentally done. Okay? I still, if I were to wager that he makes the 53-man roster, but has anybody been more of a disappointment than Ben Cleveland? Wasn't even in the competition for the left guard spot. Preseason stats, according to PFF, were okay. 157 snaps. 62.3 overall grade, 62.2 pass block grade, 63.7 run block grade. But he's looking at what? Being the backup right guard? You couldn't compete with a rookie in ball. John Simpson came in and stole your starting spot when you were the favorite to replace Ben Powers. What the hell happened with Ben Cleveland here? I am just mentally done with him. If the Ravens move on from him, I would not be surprised considering how things escalated when that was his job to lose, and now there is just this disinterest in Ben Cleveland. I'm done with him mentally. If he couldn't earn that job that was right there in front of him, then I'm checked out on Ben Cleveland. Watch out. We'll see if he makes that roster or not. My guess is yes, but if he does still end up at this roster, his role is going to be very limited. Who the hell's a backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens? We saw a lot of Josh Johnson throughout this preseason. The Ravens brought in the veteran who's been a journeyman, the dictionary definition of a journeyman, played most recently in the NFC Championship game for the San Francisco 49ers and really struggled. But you look at Tyler Huntley, and it's no secret that we've heard that Todd Monken's not necessarily the biggest fan of Tyler Huntley with his lack thereof of passing ability despite coming off a Pro Bowl appearance. Now, you have the injury with Tyler Huntley, so here is a scenario that could shake out. Did you know? Think about this. The Ravens could end up putting Huntley on short-term IR and then turn around and keep Josh Johnson as the QB2 for now. I personally think if we're up to Todd Monken, Josh Johnson would be the number 2 quarterback, and Huntley would be gone. I think that's the direction that he wants to go. But maybe there's some pushback among others as Huntley's been a good teammate and has played in a lot of games for the Baltimore Ravens over the last couple of seasons. But if I were to wager what the Ravens are going to do when all the dust settles, I think the Ravens are more committed right now to Josh Johnson than they are Tyler Huntley. I mean, Greg Rosenthal of NFL Media a couple days ago said that the Ravens have been trying to move off Tyler Huntley all offseason, and he expects him to get traded this week. So that is something to monitor if Huntley will be moved or not at this point with his future in question. So who is the backup? Which guy would you roll with? Are you still with Scoop Huntley, or are you rolling with the new guy, Josh Johnson? Chime in the comment section. TH for Tyler Huntley. JJ for Josh Johnson. Pick a backup quarterback. Who's backing up Lamar? Let us know in the comment section below. Final note of what I'm watching for in these roster moves over the next couple days. Jalyn Armour-Davis. Not only will he make the 53-man roster, but he will play a significant role for the Baltimore Ravens with all the injuries that have stacked up from Rock Ya-Sin to Marlon Humphrey, and the list goes on, right? Jalyn Armour-Davis had just a brutal night. If we're going to be real with y'all, it was not a good night for Jalyn Armour-Davis against the Bucs on Saturday. I sure hope that he got those jitters and all the bad voodoo or juju, whatever you want to call it, out of the way, because they are going to need to depend on Jalyn Armour-Davis to get the job done and be a guy they can rely on. He's significant because they kind of have to be. And if the Ravens can upgrade at corner, if they can find some other guys, so they don't have to pin so much on Jalyn Armour-Davis, that'd be nice. But the reality is they're kind of stuck with him. He's going to be their guy. He's going to hang on to that spot for now. So watch out for Jalyn Armour-Davis there. So your turn to be Eric DeCosta. Before we go, who's a player the Ravens should cut before the deadline? I want some names. Name them, okay? I know that everybody wants to be nice and sing Kumbaya and I wish we could keep everybody. We're not doing that here. Be real with me. Tell me who you think the Ravens should cut and let me know. Subscribe to the channel. We got you covered all week. We're talking roster news. This is your Ravens headquarters. Keep it locked in. We'll see you next time right here on Ravens Rundown.